Welcome back, Lake listeners. Thank you for tuning in for more of the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. Today we are very excited to have Melissa Krantz back with us and her son Jacob Krantz here to talk about the life in real estate and kind of Jake's take on it. Guys, thanks so much for being here. What do you think, Jake?
Well, this is my first podcast, so here we go.
Right?
I'm excited.
Here we go. So I want to kind of take it all the way back, all right? And I know that's not a long time, but all the way back. And give me some history. Give us some history on what it kind of takes or what it was like growing up with real estate in your life, Jacob.
Well, to me, at least at the time, things weren't that weird. Just growing up, I was pretty used to being inside an office all the time. It was like I had a little second home and a second family coming to the office. I had 12 extra aunt and uncles that I knew. Looking back on it, it definitely was different. I had a lot of things that I was very fortunate to be. I was exposed to a lot of things that I wouldn't have seen not having that experience growing up. And, it kind of gave me a different lens on the world growing up and seeing how it really worked, the different processes that people went through and the different opportunities that were out there,
Mel, what about you? Let's take it all the way back for you.
Taking it all the way back from when Jacob was born. So when I started real estate, I was newly married to Jacob's dad, whom we're still happily married to. And we were one of the first ones in a long time to have a newborn here at RE/MAX. And when we first came and you were first born, we didn't want to miss work. So Jacob came to work every day for the first 6 months of his life because we didn't have family here yet. So he basically was brought up in the office between all of the agents and staff for the first 6 months, which was remarkable because you went to anybody. So I think he never knew a stranger because if I had a conference call and you started to fuss, somebody would run down the hall, grab him, and then I might not see you for an hour because you were playing with each agent kind of between offices.
Oh, that's super cool.
And then, I think what Jacob said, he was exposed, as your sister and brother were, to so many neat experiences.
So many interesting people and just anybody willing to drop things and help. That's really neat.
Oh, the people and our clients have been amazing. I remember the first time we took Jacob to see the ocean was because a client let us use their condo as a gift to us.
Aww.
Didn't charge us, but because of the relationship we created, they were in love with Jacob and they said, we want to help you get Jacob to see the ocean for the first time.
Aww.
So we went to his condo down in Fort Myers, and that was how we were introduced, or you were, to the ocean. So that's just one little experience our kids have gotten to see.
So tell me kind of what challenges were there for you, Mel, and for you, Jake, if you can remember any.
Well, I think challenges, when you are in real estate, you really own your own business. So it's not just managing a business, but you're trying to manage your family. So, with them growing up, it was normally me probably on the phone, taking a phone call, them having to learn, hey, that's business. This is how we have our income, so we need to be quiet right now. I remember there was one time I was doing a contract and you had a breakdown over something. And we were at the house and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to finish this. And I ran into one of our bathrooms in our house and I said, I was in a restaurant. And I said, I don't know, but there's some child having a major breakdown out in this restaurant, but I'm sure his parent will get this under control. Keep talking. And it was my child outside my own bathroom door because I think a Lego broke or something. And I'm like, you are fine. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
So you just roll with it. Absolutely roll with it.
What about you, Jake? Do you think you experienced any challenges? Do you remember any?
Well, as an 8-year-old to, 8 to 12 is when I started noticing things, I guess. You don't really know you have challenges, but like Mom said, just understanding that business is business, what the time they're spending at it and the amount of time it's not taking away from our relationship. It's just what they had to do. It was, and that's tricky. I even remember if Mom or Dad got a phone call, Zach and I on command would just shut up, just on the spot, just silent. And it wasn't it wasn't weird to us. You know, Mom and Dad would pick us up, and we'd be going to school, and they'd start talking. We'd have a little conversation, and all of a sudden, oh, I got a phone call. I got to take it. And it was, you know, my feelings weren't hurt about it. It was like, all right, you got to do what you got to do. I understand. And just little stuff like that. Even I remember as a little kid, Zach and I would be, if we get picked up from school like 3:30 or 4, we'd go in the conference room, the doors would be shut, and then 6:30 rolls around, they've got all their stuff done. We'd be playing in the conference room. Sometimes Mom come in with a stack of envelopes. All right, guys, you want to put some stickers on paper? And we were making ledgers and all that stuff.
What's some other projects that you remember helping with?
Well, the ledgers were a big one because that was, you know, nice and simple and time consuming. So it'd take us a while. Yeah. Just little stuff, little simple stuff, moving signs, you know, when I was 16 or 17, putting signs in yards, doing work orders, any little thing that wasn't too technically advanced. You know, I get.
Do you and your brother Zach talk about, you know, just growing up the way that you guys have? I mean, has he mentioned anything about how he has taken on the same kind of viewpoint as you, as far as just having all those opportunities and all those people?
We don't I wouldn't say we necessarily talk about it that much, but we definitely both understand it. You know, we've got a mutual understanding of business needs to get taken care of. Mom and Dad are doing their thing. We do our thing. And we've got, you know, we're a little team. Everybody plays their role, and we've kind of got that established. And it's, you know, we still fight and we still argue and everything. We're brothers. I mean,
right.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
But the understanding's always been there, I think.
Well, Mel, what were some benefits and some takeaways you've had? I mean, now that you've looked back and, you know, Jake's in college now, and anything?
I think the benefits, especially for Jeff and I, we are so proud of our children. Absolutely. I think being exposed to what they have, we had high expectations for them. When they meet someone, they're going to look you in the eye. They're going to call you Mr. or Mrs. Please and thank you. I mean, you've turned out to be exceptional. Now, let's knock on wood that we keep that going. But, you know, the exposure has been phenomenal. I cannot thank our clients enough. You know, we have gotten to go on amazing trips, hunting trips you've been exposed to because of Dad's clients, and that golf. We've been exposed to clients there. You know, I remember being on race boats because our clients would stop by and say, we really want to have your kids see this boat and let's take them for a ride. Cool. Which we wouldn't have in any other career, I don't think. And being in a second home market, too, we're exposed to even different areas. You know, hey, do you want to come down to our place in Florida or maybe Colorado or South Dakota? So they've gotten to travel and listen to these other people and their business experiences in life. I think those conversations you've been exposed to through the last, 21 years have been phenomenal.
Yeah, I bet a lot of inspiration came from those. I know it would for me personally.
Yeah, absolutely. The exposure has been, it's not only in setting goals for yourself, because you know how high the ceiling actually is. It's unbelievable how successful you can become. But not only that, but seeing all the different ways you can do it. You know, you don't have to know your career coming out of high school, just kill it through college and immediate. You know, it's not, life isn't set up in that way, I guess. You can roll with it and you can choose different avenues to pursue that you wouldn't necessarily know of when you were 18, 19, 20, and I'm really thankful for that.
I really like that perspective. I really do. Mel, what were some of kind of your favorite memories of the boys being in the office with, your fellow agents and things? Do you have any particular favorite ones?
Well, I think what we kind of maybe came back to us is they are very good negotiators. So when we would have allowance discussions, I'd say, okay, your allowance is going to be $5. And I'd say, no. Then they'd say like 15. And I'd say, no, that's not going to work either. They'll be like, split the difference.
Wow.
And I'm like, split the difference? Where did you hear that from? Well, they would listen to us on the phone. And then I'm like, you know what? I might split the difference with you because you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
They can overcome most objectives that come their way. I think in real estate you learn to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes I'm like, okay, let's go do this. Oh, nope, we got to go run by this house real quick. And, Zach, a couple weeks ago, I'm like, you need to go to this client's house and weed eat their yard.
Mm-hmm.
It was an elderly gentleman. I said, can't do it right now. You need to go help. So I think their willingness to help others and the community involvement we have here at RE/MAX, they have been at almost every event.
Mm-hmm.
So they've learned to help for, Christmas for kids. When we do the Fall Fest, they know, hey, it's a team. The family is a business and we're a team. Everybody chips in.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to work on Zach a little bit more. Now Zach's not here to defend himself,
Poor Zach.
but everybody does help out. So they just know that you got to roll with it, and it's not perfect. So
That's awesome. What would be some advice to those who have children within the real estate world, or maybe considering joining the real estate world, having children? You guys got any advice?
I think from my perspective is real estate is a career that allows you to have time but not have time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get wrapped into this 24/7. So you really have to watch your time management. And what helped us is what I looked for when they were smaller. Now they're older and they're grown. But I had to create this tribe around us.
Mm-hmm.
They always say it takes a village to raise a child. So I had to seek outside, just this office to other parents like, hey, can you help out this day? I'm going to help out this day.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of formed this little coalition of, okay, because there are some days where there's an emergency and I can't be there, so I need somebody to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to find those people to do that. And that made a big difference. And we still have those friendships today.
That's awesome.
Because we all stuck together to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jake?
From my perspective, at least, is just, communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting the kids know that, hey, you're busy, but it's just one of the things that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be busy all the time.
Yeah, and just keeping it clear, and, there's time for business, and there's time for work, or time for business and time for, at home. I remember growing up, we had a sign on the door coming into the house from our garage, and it said, leave the business at business, you're at home, it's about being at home now.
Your dad just told me that story the other day. I love that.
Yeah, and that little piece of paper, I can even remember looking at it. That really did, there were changes within the house that we communicated better through that. Not that we didn't beforehand, but it definitely helped. Just little clear boundaries and clear motives and everything just really helped growing up.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there was one sign we had that said, bring the energy home.
Mm-hmm.
That we were there, and our children have heard so many podcasts through the years. I don't know how many times you have had to listen to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. They listen to Brian Buffini a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I do love Brian.
So they know the theme songs to that. But I think that helped with their upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
They're very positive. They're creative. You've learned about financing, tax laws, 1031s. They know it because they've listened to it.
I think that's really neat. And I always say, positivity always breeds more positivity. And then once you start placing small boundaries, it may seem cheesy or cliche on some levels when other people see it or interact with it or get exposed to it. But at the end of the day, it does make it, it does matter.
Absolutely.
You can start seeing a difference from when you didn't have it in place till, a week later, a couple weeks later, and even on. So I think that that's really cool how you guys were intentional about separating it, but also how it was always around.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacob, do you have the same dreams now? What does your future goals look like? And, how do you think the industry is going to impact you since it's been around you your whole life?
Well, growing up, at least when I was young, real estate was probably the last thing I wanted to do, just because I was around it so much. I kind of wanted to get out. I had a slightly unhealthy obsession with animals. I wanted to be a veterinarian for the longest time, but growing up and looking at the schooling, I didn't, I liked school. I was decent at school, but that wasn't something I didn't want to pursue an 8-year degree. Nowadays, I'm definitely looking more towards real estate just because I see the type of freedom that you have within it. Like we were talking earlier, being able to bring a kid to the office for 6 months, what else?
Right.
What other field can you name to where that's just nomenclature, where that's somewhat normal? It's definitely opened my eyes to the different paths you can take, the different means. You don't necessarily need a degree. You don't necessarily need the best of the best with knowledge and education. You just need to do it. It's just about acting. So that has definitely changed my perspective on how I want to go about my career and everything, for the most part at least. That's been the biggest player, yeah.
I'm super excited for whatever you try to accomplish, just because you got a lot of knowledge and history under your belt. Mel, how do you feel when he says that he might consider real estate?
I would think it would be great. Our goal for our children is, first and foremost, we want them to be happy. And I think that's probably every parent's goal, along with them to be healthy.
For sure.
You do see where real estate is, generational. I think it gets in your blood. You eat, breathe it every single day. And you just learn it, and it's either you love it or you don't. And Jeff and I love it. I mean, I love the clients. I love the development part of it, the planning. I mean, there isn't gossip that goes on in our home. It's, hey, what about this property? And do you think this would work for this client, or this person in Chicago that we know did this? What do you guys think about that? So we're always talking and thinking about new ideas, which the only issue in our family probably is we're all the same personality. So they've learned the personality traits to where we all did a new test, probably 6 months ago. Nobody said their answers. We all sat around and did it, and we're the same. And that's why we are high energy. We are loud in our home. I mean, we have my parents come and visit. They're like, you guys are so loud. Well, we're all talking over each other because that's how we interact.
Yep.
So
I understand that. My mom says the same thing when she comes over with our 4 kids. It's just, you guys are so loud. And I'm like, well, you got to get your words in. You got to pick and choose your moments. But I really appreciate you guys being here. And Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more thankful to Mel and Jacob for bringing their knowledge and experience about being raised in real estate here and sharing it with us. We have a few more episodes coming for season 1 of the show, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays or find us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Instagram, or growthriveinspirepodcast.com. Be sure to also check out our RE/MAX Lake of the Ozarks Facebook page for any open houses coming up. Open houses are posted on Thursdays for the upcoming weekend, and Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and we are so thankful to you and yours for your love of Lake of the Ozarks. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire. We'll see you soon.